Hey, crew. Hey, listen, I think I mentioned to you the other day, we have recently purchased a 1,000 Trails membership. Now, don't worry, I'm not trying to sell it to you. We bought it secondhand, so there's no benefit to 1,000 Trails, what I'm going to tell you right now. But I just think we have stumbled across the combination of finances which allow us to continue RVing. We're full-time, so we can take advantage completely of a membership. So let me tell you how we do it.
Hey crew, if you guys haven't met us before, I'm Jamie, and this is my wife Princess. For the last few years, we've been traveling around the world. Well, almost. We began sailing around the world on our super awesome aluminum performance sailing catamaran, Jupiter 2. 4 years of full-time sailing, all the way from Asia, Africa to the Americas, until we ran out of money. For me, it was back to work, which, to be honest, ain't too bad. But we need a place to live and we need to keep exploring. Only one answer: RVing America.
Alright, so for those that are not familiar with memberships, let me tell you how we got started. We got, blasted by advertising, as 1,000 Trails tend to do. So right now we're sitting in Leavenworth, Washington. It's about a 30-minute drive to the town of Leavenworth, which is actually an old European, pretending to be European township in the mountains. It's beautiful, very crowded because it was a weekend, but lovely to see. And we are camping here for free. And that is the idea of this membership, is if you optimize the use of the membership, you can camp basically, apart from the yearly dues, you can camp free all year round. Now, I've made a video about this membership thing before. We tried it for 1 year and it worked really well. For me at that time, I was in a job where I was working away 15 days. The basic membership allows you to stay in park 14 days. And I would just sort of ring up and say, I'm stuck at work. I can't get back for 2 more days. And they would go, yeah, no problem. So that worked for a while. My job that I'm in now, I'm away 18 days. I just can't quite cut that anymore. So we needed to take it up a notch. And in fact, we took it up to the top. We bought the top tier membership, the Adventure, which is new in the order of $15,000 to $18,000 one-off payment, plus the yearly dues. Believe me, we did not pay anywhere near that. I'm going to tell you how we did it. So if you're unfamiliar with the 1,000 Trails membership, I really can't compare it to any other membership, but this one includes about 200 parks around the US. I think it's pretty much the biggest one there is. So this is the one we've chosen. To get started, like we did, you can buy a 1-year membership called the Camping Pass. It's the most basic membership. For these days, $580. They always offer a big discount for the first year to get you in, and it did. It got us in, but we were not able to afford to pay the second year, which is without discount. So currently it's $580 including the discount. The next year goes up to $755, and the fees go up year after year, a little bit due inflation, they tell us. But we got a taste of what we can do and the money that we can save, and we knew we needed to take it up a notch to get 21-day stays. The 14-day stay wasn't cutting it, but the basic camping pass entitles you to 14-day stay in park, and then you must leave all parks for 7 days. And for us, that worked. I came home from work, I had 13 days off. We'd go out of park 7 days, no problems, and then by the time I needed to go back to work again, back in the park. And that will allow you to stay anywhere in any 1,000 Trails campgrounds in one zone. There are 5 zones, sort of geographically located: northwest, southwest, northeast. Have a look at this map. It'll show you the zones. Now, 1,000 Trails, I think there are about 79 parks, so that's not huge. But if you pay a little bit extra, and there's always an upsell, for the Trails collection, you will get more than 100 more parks in your kit, which include destination parks and encore parks. And encore, for example, is what we need when we're in Arizona, because around Phoenix, that's all there is, only encore parks. And that's when we go down to the boat, we need encore parks. So the basic Trails collection to add on is $450 a year, and that allows you 14-day stay and a booking window of 60 days prior. Now all these facets become really important. We managed to get by with a 60-day booking window last time, but it can be a struggle to get a park. They book out fast. So with a higher level membership, you can get longer booking day windows. In fact, the top one currently is a 180-day prior booking window, and that's what we have now. There used to be a higher one, and they still honor it, 210 days. Listen, the ins and outs, all the different pluses and minuses, I'm gonna get into a little bit later. But for now, I can't understand why more people aren't using this, especially full-timers, and specifically full-timers, because it really saves you money. We've identified this as the only way that we can continue RVing, because paying per night, like we were paying monthly rates, right? We would stay somewhere for a month. I would go to work for 18 days and then we go boondocking. So basically we're throwing away 10 days there, because I want to go out boondocking. I hate staying in RV parks, but I need somewhere safe to put my wife while I'm away. And the monthly rate is the most economical way to go if you're going to pay an RV park. So we saved and scraped up enough money for months to buy this membership. And believe me, we paid nowhere near the asking price. And I'm going to tell you how we did it. I don't know why more people don't do this. You know, like look at one of the most famous RVing YouTubers there is, the Hanks. Why don't they get a membership? Because they're constantly spending money every night. And if you're traveling, you're not in one place for a month, you're actually full-time traveling, well, you're paying the maximum rate all the time. Maybe the Hanks will see this video. Just give us a thumbs up if you do. Cheers. That's good. These tires are holding nicely. The brand new Salins 637s. All right, so after doing 1,000 trails for a year on the lowest plan possible, the camping pass, we decided it was time to upgrade, but we just couldn't afford to. So we needed the 21-day stay. Now, the thing with getting an upgraded membership is that currently 1,000 Trails are not offering lifetime memberships anymore. They're either 2-year or 4-year, but they used to be lifetime. I wanted one of them. I didn't want to be paying out every 2 or 4 years. So we needed the 21-day stay. Now, 1,000 Trails keep changing the membership names. I guess it's just to remarket the same thing but slightly differently. Oh, but you get this now and you don't get it on that one anymore. So it's pretty confusing. And going down the used second-hand membership path that I did, you start to learn what all of these different membership levels and titles have, the pros and cons of each membership. So I'm going to try and fill you in on what they are. All right, it can be difficult to find details on the membership levels of 1,000 Trails. What they want you to do is put in your email and your phone number and then have a membership specialist call you and discuss the options. But of course, you're talking to a salesman. I didn't want to do that, so I'm trying to dig and find information without having to go straight to the salesman. For one, I'm not going to buy new. I feel bad wasting their time when I'm just not going to buy from them. So I'm going to try and, in a nutshell, wrap up the different packages for you so that we can move forward and make a decision here. So this is on the 1,000 Trails website here. The current membership levels are Camping Pass. That's the one that we did for a year, and it worked for us then for 14-day stays. Now we need something more. The next level up is Journey, Explore, and then the top tier is Adventure, which is what we got. And I can tell you that the Adventure retails for around the $17,000, man. And we did not pay that. We paid a lot, but nowhere near that. Alright, so let's have a look at what you get. First of all, anything above the Camping Pass, you get access to all regions. There is no zones for you anymore. Let's double check that. Alright, annual camping pass, you get nothing. 60-day advance reservation. As I say, we did make it work, but we did struggle to find availability 2 months in advance. You need more. RVing is a popular pastime here in the US, so you need to book ahead. So let's see, the journey, you can book 120 days in advance. Explore 150 days in advance. The adventure is 180 days, 6 months in advance. Everything above the camping park, you get 21 days in park to park. So you can go make your booking for 21 days in this park. I asked the question, well, can't I just make another 21-day booking in the same park consecutively? No, you can't. You got to leave that park, which means you got to go move into another park. Still workable for us. In our situation, that is workable. Assuming that I come home once every 21 days. And I should do. Fingers crossed. You get things like cabin rental discounts and stuff. This stuff doesn't matter to us. For some people it might, because some people want to take their family RVing. And then in that case, they can book a cabin and an RV site and have a family holiday. Doesn't apply to us. I'm sure it applies to many folks, so that's cool. Getaway cabin weeks. I think they are free weeks. And from my understanding, we still have 2 free cabin weeks available to us. I believe when you buy the membership, you start with 4. Previous owners used it 2 times, and we've still got 2 available. RPI, Travel and Camping Reciprocal Program. I don't even know what that is. That's another corner that I have not investigated with this membership. We'll have to look into that. Trails Collection. Trails Collection more than doubles the parks. I think it is 79 parks, 1,000 trails only on the basic membership. But if you buy the Trails Collection, that's over 100 more parks. So that they say more than 200 parks total if you buy the Trails Collection. The Trails Collection is an additional fee because it's using reciprocal parks memberships, right? So it's an extra $450 a year to get access to those parks. All the memberships below Adventure, in other words, all but the top tier, you will get 14 days stay in the park, whether it's Encore or Destination. 14 days in, you must be 7 days out. And a 60-day booking window. The top tier, the Adventure, which is what we have now. You have access to the Trails Collection Plus. Only difference is you get 90-day booking window and you can stay in park 21 days. And you can go park to park. The only current membership that has access to the Trails Collection Plus is the Adventure membership, and this is why we wanted the Adventure membership, and that is because 21-day stay in Encore Destination, more than 100 parks around the US, 21-day stay, in addition to your 1,000 trails, 21-day stay. These are the current memberships. None of them are lifetime. 1,000 Trails has always done these lifetime memberships. You pay the fee once, it's yours for life. All you have to do is pay the yearly dues. And that can be as low as, these days, can be as low as $755. It's going to go up over time with inflation. Right, how to get a used membership for a discounted price. Because of a recommendation from a very popular YouTube channel, I went initially to a business that's been set up in Florida that sells used campground memberships. I'm not going to say who it is. There's a reason for that. I contacted this person. They sent me a itinerary of used memberships that are available. The prices were, much better than new. I was trusting in the opinions of the YouTubers that have recommended this business. However, thankfully, I just Googled reviews on this business. Immediately on Facebook, there was terrible reviews. There was threats of lawsuits. There was mostly it was sellers of campground memberships not getting their money. When a buyer had bought the membership, they weren't getting their money. So as a buyer, maybe I would have been okay. But anyway, I Googled up the Better Business Bureau and found terrible reports about this business also. Look it up for yourself. Do your homework. This business used to be good, but in the last year or two has declined terribly with a lot of complaints. Do your homework before you commit any money or commitment of any sort to a membership business that's selling used memberships. Do your homework. Instead, I went to the good old reliable and never dishonest Facebook Marketplace. Of course, you gotta be careful. But there is a group on Facebook that's committed to that. This is all they do, is they sell used memberships. And it's not a business, it's not a person running this, it's just people like you and me who want to buy and sell memberships, 1,000 Trail memberships. What this does is give you really good information on the current going rates of the membership price, all the different membership levels over the years, because there's people that have had their membership for 20 years trying to sell it. You can get 21-day stay for, it's called an elite membership. It was an old style membership. It's still valid. It is lifetime. You can't get lifetime membership brand new these days. You could get 21-day stays for $2,000, $2,000, and then you could say 21 days lifetime. Obviously, that was my first thought, was to go for that minimal payment. There was only one advantage in us trying to get a better membership, and that was Adventure membership allows you to have Trails Collection Plus, which allows you to have 21-day stays in Encore parks, and we need that because down in Arizona, they're all Encore. We needed 21-day stays in Encore. There's only one membership gives you that, and that was Adventure, which is the most expensive one. God damn it. Anyway, and that's what we did. But if you're just looking for 21-day stay in 1,000 Trails and 14-day stay in Encore, you could spend $2,000. So there was many memberships for sale on this Facebook group. That was great. You could get an idea of the market price for each membership. You could get an idea of the assets or the privileges of each membership. And because the memberships changed throughout the years, it was initially confusing. I did a lot of searching, writing down details. For example, here's some of my notes. So you'll see Elite. Elite is the basic level 21-day in park to park, but you cannot get the Encore 21-day, right? You can just get the 14-day Encore if you add the Trails Collection. Next little one is, there's one called the Ultimate Odyssey, and it has 28-day stays. That's almost a month, and it is lifetime. There's one called a Platinum, which you can always resell. Some of the other memberships, like our Adventure membership, I cannot resell it. It can be resold once only, so as second owner, I cannot resell it. The Elite Basic Connections, the Elite Connections, or the Elite Basic, you cannot resell. I'm not 100% sure of these facts, but I've written it down here, so I was pretty sure when I was making my own decisions. Please go out and do your own homework. Also, the Elite Basic or the Elite Connections, you cannot freeze the dues. The Alliance is a 210-day booking period. That's the longest that you can get. Mine, the Adventure, is only 180 days, 6 months, but that should be plenty for us. Some of the lower level memberships, like the Elite, they have high use restriction. And I think this only applies to about 5 parks in Florida during the summer, or is it the winter? Oh my God. Alright, some details that I'm not sure. But anyway, there's about 5 parks in the entire US that have high use restrictions. And that's, in other words, that's saying when they're busy, they're not going to accept your booking as a 1,000 Trails member. But if you've got the top tier one, like the Adventure, those don't apply. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong, but there's so many nuances, right? So I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of what to be looking for. Some of the upper tier memberships also had the pause feature or inactive status feature, where you could pause your membership, not pay dues for up to 5 years, and then resume your active status. This was important to us because we plan to go and live in Europe soon, just for a couple of years, but that's one of our plans. We wanted to be able to pause the membership. And when I rang and asked 1,000 Trails, here's what they said. Are all the Adventure memberships able to be paused, the dues? Or does it have to be checked for each one?
I would say it would need to be checked for every one of them.
Okay.
I can tell you, though, I haven't came across one that isn't.
All right.
That doesn't have that inactive benefit. It looks like this one does have the inactive or the hold.
So as a second owner, I can pause that one, yeah?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Great. That is not the case. Let me tell you, when I got the contract, it specifically said cannot pause. Cannot pause our dues. Must pay every year for a lifetime. It wasn't a deal breaker. We continued with it, and when the day comes when we've definitely stopped RVing in the US, then we just stop paying dues and our membership will cancel. Win some, you lose some, yeah. Alright. The transaction. How do you make a significant purchase on Facebook Marketplace, or at least initiate it through Facebook Marketplace, safely? I used some suggestions people use, and in fact on that Facebook group, that question is often posed. How do I buy this safely, so everyone is, buyer and the seller are secure in the transaction? Some people have suggested the buyer puts up half the money first, and then after receiving the membership from 1,000 Trails, or the contract for the membership from 1,000 Trails, then pass on the remaining half, and that sort of spreads the risk halfway. I went a different route. Someone else suggested it, escrow.com. I've used them once before in my life. I believe I actually put a deposit down on an aeroplane. It was only $2,000, and then the deal didn't work, so I was able to get my $2,000 back from the escrow account. It's like a holding account, and then both buyer and the seller have to agree the transaction is good before the funds are released. That's what I went with this time. I initiated this. Just look up escrow.com, and it's quite self-explanatory, and it went fairly smoothly. And the only hiccups was the delays. It was delay in me being able to send the funds, delay in them receiving the funds. Like, they had posted that they'd received the funds and it was being reviewed, and that took a week to review. And so I'm calling and going, what's this reviewed thing? The seller doesn't want to continue until the funds are ready to, and it turned out I hadn't done some form of ID. Anyway, it took a bit of time and a few hiccups, but you know what? I think both buyer and seller felt pretty safe all the way, right? Someone else is holding the money. Okay, so the process for transferring a membership in 1,000 Trails is this. You've made an offer and discussed it with the buyer, the seller, and you've come up with a price, right? My transaction went like this, and this would be typical, right? So on that Facebook group, the member that's selling the membership, they will give the details. What's the name of the membership? What are the specifics? What do you get on this membership? For example, 21-day stay, in park, park to park, 120-day booking window, all that stuff, right? You need to get the member number from the seller. And often people on the Facebook Marketplace, they just post their member number and say you are free to call 1,000 Trails to verify the membership. You don't want to be giving away your money when it's not actually a valid membership. So of course they got to give you the member number if it's not already posted there. You call up 1,000 Trails and you speak to the transfers department, and you say, I'm a buyer looking at a membership number this. Can you confirm, one, that it's paid out in full? A lot of these memberships, especially in the more recent years, are being paid off over time, like a monthly repayment. That's how they sell them. In the parks like this, a $17,000 membership, they sell them by, you just pay monthly repayments. So in a number of the memberships that I inquired about, they still owed more than half. So these poor guys are trying to sell their membership for around about half of what they paid 2 years ago, just so that they can get rid of the debt. The one that I went for was completely paid out. It was only 4 years old. I think it was bought in 2019, and it was completely paid out. So that was good. The next question I had, just the basic membership, like with this membership as the second owner, do I still get 21-day in park, park to park, 180-day booking window, frozen dues, and frozen dues? And they told me yes, second owner gets frozen dues. Incorrect. When I finally got the contract, it specifically said I do not get frozen dues. So that's... Anyway, once you've come to an agreement on the price and you know all the details of the membership, then you arrange your transaction. As I mentioned, I used escrow.com, and I'm happy I did. The fee for using that service was shared between the buyer and the seller. We paid half each, and it worked out for, it varies with the cost of the purchase, right? It must be a percentage, I guess. Ours, the fee was about $85 each. which is pretty good for the protection that it offers you, yeah? So we'd agreed upon a price. I transferred the funds into the escrow account. The buyer had access to the account and could see the funds sitting there. Once the funds had cleared by escrow, then the buyer rings up Thousand Trails and says, I want to sell to this guy, my name, address, phone number, email, and they say between 20 and 30 working days, which is a long time. Like, what's that, 4 to 6 weeks? Thousand Trails will send you a contract. Turns out it was only like 10 working days, and they sent us a contract. First, send it to the seller to sign that I am selling to this person, and then the seller sends it to me. It's a DocuSign, online signing thing. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. In that document is where it said cannot freeze the dues, and that sucked, but what can I do? It wasn't a deal breaker. So we continued, and then Thousand Trails will send the DocuSign to me. I see the seller's already signed it. I feel safe now. I can release the funds to the seller, because now my contract is with Thousand Trails, not the seller. I sign the DocuSign, send it back. I think it was 2 working days. I had a membership and I could make booking, and we're in the first one right now, which was a matter of 10 days after I secured the membership. I'm in the park already, staying for free. I've got the next 2 months already booked up, and I'm going to keep making bookings as I get the time. So we have somewhere to stay for free for a lifetime. Well, I hope this information has been useful to you. We are really happy with our decision to get this membership. Yes, it seems like a lot of money in the beginning. I mean, if it was new, 17 grand, are you shitting me? No, we paid $7,200 for a lifetime adventure membership. The previous owners paid back 3-4 years ago, it was probably $15,000, but I think the latest prices are 17 to 18, man. It's a lot of money. And there is a market for used memberships there. So just get on that Facebook group, just asking questions, and you'll find there's plenty of guys that want to sell their membership. Either they're not using it anymore, they've got too old, or they've got kids now and they can't travel. So yeah, we're really thankful that we're able to continue RVing with this lifetime membership. To be honest, we couldn't continue doing it how we were doing it, and that was paying monthly fees places. We were paying up to $2,000 and something a month in Colorado. You've really got to go far and wide to find cheaper options. Arizona, for example, is usually around $1,000 mark, including electricity. Did find one right down on the border of Mexico, which we would have been happy to stay. At least I would have been. $400 including electricity. But anyway, it was at the back of an Indian casino. I don't know if my wife would have felt comfortable being there alone for 3 weeks at a time. So yeah, now no more fees apart from bare minimum $755 a year, our dues. Really happy that we found this, and I hope some of you guys can use it out there. Like I said from the start, I'm not trying to sell it to you. I'm just trying to give you all some info on how to do it cheaper, because RVing can be really expensive, So this is a way that you can make it much cheaper. Anyway, cheers for now. Tricked ya! Pants on. Oh, I know, better mention, there is a $750 transfer fee to transfer a membership from seller to buyer. Normally, it's the buyer that pays the transfer fee. Hey guys, sitting here in the hotel making this video right now, and I've realized that what I'm trying to sell you is a second-hand membership, right? Specifically the lifetime membership, which is what I think is really worthwhile, especially if you think you're going to be doing this lifestyle for any length of time. Even though our adventure membership cost $7,200 was the price, plus $750 transfer fee, and then we had to pay the dues. Right, so let's say ballpark it was like 9 grand. I think we'll have that paid off, as in I think we'll have equaled our expenses with 1 year of RVing. We will have covered that cost. That's what we would have normally spent. We were usually spending spending around $1,000 a month for staying in an RV park. And then sometimes in Colorado, it's $2,000 a month. But that's the lifetime membership. Thousand Trails do not sell that anymore. They sell 2-year and 4-year memberships. And I'd be remiss if I made a video and didn't describe the current membership that you can buy in case you want to buy a brand new Thousand Trails membership. So I rang them up earlier and got the lowdown. 2-year membership, setup fee of $999, $1,000. And then it is $300 a month, right? This comes out to $8,199 for 2 years. But there are no dues. That's the final cost. You don't have to pay extra for Trails Collection Plus. You don't pay any more for the RPI membership, which I think is about $180 a year. And you're not paying the $755 yearly dues. The 4-year membership, $1,665 setup cost, and then $270 a month. You add that all up over 4 years, it costs $14,625. 14.5 grand for 4 years, right? Again, including all memberships, including Trails Collection Plus and the RPI, not paying any dues. That's still an awful lot of money. Let's say you're pretty serious about RVing. Let's do 4 years. That is, what, $3,500 a year? This all really depends on how long you think you're going to be RVing. I personally, even though we've probably only RV for another 2 years in the US, I still think buying a lifetime membership secondhand was a better deal for us. But that's up to you guys. I hope that I've given you enough information to at least start the thought process, start doing your own research, and get out there and start living the life on the road, yeah? Cheers.